Hello, let me introduce myself for the new people. My name is Dr. Christian Seberino of Phil4. I provide math, physics, and computer programming classes as well as tutoring. My website is phil4.com. My email address is info@phil4.com. In this video series, I'll be focusing on the math portion of the SAT. Okay, right now I want to give you an introduction. I want to give you some general information, some general techniques. Okay, if you want more help, if you want tutoring, I also provide an SAT math prep class. Please see my website for more information if you're interested in that class. Okay, so let's start. So, general info. Math scores range from 200 to 800. All right, an 800 would be a perfect score. There will be 3 math sections. There'll be a 25-minute section with 20 multiple choice questions. There'll be another 25-minute section with 8 multiple choice questions and 10 non-multiple choice questions. And I'll discuss those non-multiple choice questions a little bit later. And then there'll be a 20-minute section with 16 multiple choice questions. Okay? Multiple choice questions always have 5 choices, so you'll always have A through E. Okay? More general info. Right answers are worth 1 point. Okay? Wrong answers lose a quarter point. And then what about blank answers? If you don't answer a question, blank answers don't gain or lose any points. All right? Calculators. Graphing calculators are allowed. Let me make some comments about that. Make sure your model is approved. There's a website you can go to check your model. All right. Obviously, we don't want any surprises on test day. We don't want you to find out that your model, you can't use it. Okay, you're not allowed to have QWERTY keyboards. You're not allowed to have a calculator that accesses the internet. Okay, basically your calculator can't be a glorified laptop, a computer. Okay. More general info. Questions get progressively harder. Okay, the first third will be easy. The second third will be medium difficulty, and the last third will always be the hardest questions. Okay, that will always be the pattern. They'll always get progressively harder. Okay. Now, here is an example of what I'm talking about. Would you please answer the following multiple choice question? What angle do the hands of a clock make at 3:30 p.m.? And I have there the choices are 70 degrees, 75 degrees, 80 degrees, 85 degrees, and 90 degrees. Would you please pause the video and try this question? Okay, let me now give you the answer and discuss. The answer is B, 75 degrees. Some of you may have thought the answer was 90 degrees. Okay, why is the answer 75 degrees and not 90 degrees? If you can picture the hands of a clock, the minute hand will be pointing at the 6 at 3:30. All right. However, the hour hand, its job between 3 and 4 p.m. is to slowly move towards the 4, right? So at 3:30, the hour hand is not pointed at the 3. It's actually halfway between the 3 and the 4, okay? So that's why the angle is less than 90 degrees, okay? So my point in giving you this question was to show you that it's easy to make lots of annoying, tricky questions, even on topics you already know. Okay? If I would have asked you, do you know what an angle is? Do you know how to tell time? I'm sure you would have said yes. Okay? But however, look, I was able to make a tricky question using those simple topics. All right? So, don't panic. I've got some ways to deal with the fact that the SAT has tricky, annoying questions like this. Okay? We will get to that shortly. All right. Let me discuss what subjects are covered on the math portion of the SAT. The only subjects are arithmetic, algebra, and geometry. All right. Not only that, but it's mainly first year algebra. Okay. There is a little bit of what is traditionally covered in a second year algebra course, but not too much. Okay. For example, there's no quadratic formula, if you're familiar with what that is. Um, there's just a few topics. In fact, if you haven't had second year algebra, you can quickly pick those up while you're studying for the SAT. All right. Geometry, there's no geometry proofs. All right. So don't worry about proofs on the SAT. Furthermore, they give you a lot of formulas, like a lot of area, volume formulas, Pythagorean theorem, etc., etc. Okay. Um, Now, sometimes people ask me, do I need to take Algebra 2 before the SAT? Or even worse, should I skip geometry in order to get Algebra 2 under my belt before the SAT? Okay. Um, if you looking at the topics that I said are covered on the SAT, it should be clear that you want to have geometry, all right, and not make it so much of a priority to get Algebra 2 before the SAT. All right. Now, if you have had Algebra 2, if you have had follow-on math classes, more advanced classes like pre-calculus, trigonometry, calculus, those topics aren't explicitly covered. However, the way that those taking those classes before the SAT will indirectly benefit you is simply that you've had more practice with these more basic subjects, okay? But those more advanced topics won't be explicitly covered, okay?